My name is Perez Hilton, and I live in Los Angeles. I am the first influencer, and I'm still here. I do many things. I have my website, perezhilton.com, which I've been doing since 2004. I've got my podcast, which I've also been doing a long time. I'm an OG in many spaces. I do a lot of television. I am a father of 3. I keep myself very busy. I realized very young that I was different from most other kids. I was 6 years old and I went to see the Miami Sound Machine in concert, Gloria Estefan. And for the encore in 1984, when I was super young, they did their hit at the time, which was Conga. And they invited everybody up on stage who wanted to do the conga with them to go. I bolted from my seat, I ran up on that stage, and I was hooked. From that moment on, I knew there was more that I wanted out of life. A lot more. Everything started for me as a hobby. And that's one of the great lessons that I love to share with not just young people, but with everybody. When you do something that you're genuinely passionate about, or curious about, or excited about, and you do it and it makes you happy, then success will come to you. I started my blog, now I call it a website, or an empire, back in 2004. It was such a different world back then. Social media didn't exist in 2004. And people who did have blogs, they weren't talking about celebrities. It was very much first-person online diary. The celebrity magazines back then weren't even using their own websites to break celebrity news. It was a holding page, a landing page. You would go there and go to people.com or usmagazine.com or starmagazine.com to sign up for a subscription. I started blogging just as a hobby because it seemed easy. If it would have been difficult, I don't think I would have tried it out because I'm actually not a very tech-savvy person. It still boggles my mind that I've been doing what I do now for literally a lifetime. Some of these popping influencers today weren't even alive when I started. When I call myself the original influencer, I'm not blowing smoke up my butt. I really was. Perez Hilton has been going around telling people that she's the original influencer, but her path to success was far more traditional, linear. Perez Hilton was born an heiress into this iconic American family. She chose to become a socialite, then also made the choice to work in television. Kind of made sense. Almost all, if not my entire success, is thanks to non-traditional media and social media. I am the first influencer. I'm like a dinosaur, but thankfully I'm not extinct yet. I have so many memories when I look back at the last 17 plus years, when I was in that phase of giving celebrity couples nicknames. Yes, I came up with Brangelina. I was especially upset when they broke up. I cried. I remember when I posted the photos of them as a couple, somebody leaked them to me, and this was back when I didn't know what I was doing. It was the wild, wild west. I illegally posted the photos on my website, and it crashed my site. I scooped the entire world. Everybody was going to perezhilton.com to see the photos of Brad and Angelina. And there have been the instances where I've gotten it very wrong that everybody knows about. The internet is forever. So if you're a young person and you're unsure whether you should post something or not, don't post it. But in many ways, I laid the groundwork. I created the blueprint. Personally, some of my top highlights were opening Britney Spears' circus tour. I was in the video introduction to the show. I also was in Rihanna's S&M music video. She walked me around like her dog and tied me up, and I was in heaven. I was on an episode of Glee. I was on an episode of 90210. I was on an episode of Girl Meets World. It's always been so fun to really live my childhood dreams and surpass them, because none of this existed when I started. Nobody was making money on the internet. Nobody would ever book an influencer to talk on a TV show. That word didn't even exist in 2004. We used to be called web celebs. That was the old school way of talking about influencers or creators. Web celeb. I wrote a children's book that was published in 2011, and that, more than anything, up until this point, is what I'm proudest of professionally. Only recently did I create something that I hope can surpass that in terms of pride and the ability to help people. I recently launched a new CBD brand. Here it is. It's called My True 10. 2020, which seems like forever ago now, was a traumatic year for me, as it was for many people. And I discovered CBD, and it helped me so much. I was trying all different brands and all different types. I realized quickly that CBD oil was not for me. Gross. And the gummies, it was like the wild, wild west, like the early years of my career. Because CBD is unregulated by the FDA, you don't know what you're gonna get. But when I discovered this one gummy that was so much better than the rest and that really worked, I reached out to them and I said, we need to work together. Let's improve upon what you already have and share it with the world. And I think there's a real opportunity there, because when people think CBD, there's not one brand that comes to mind. And I would love it if My True 10 is one of those brands that instantly come to mind when people think of CBD. We're launching with gummies, but other products are to come. And these really are different than the rest. Our gummies are water soluble and they work so quickly. So you can go to our website, mytrue10.com, to find out more. And you can buy them at mytrue10.com for as little as $10. I grew up hearing this mantra, live within your means. But I think we need to change how we talk about finances, because we should not live within our means. We really should be advocating and striving to live below our means. Yes, you can afford to go on that vacation to Europe. Yes, you can afford to buy that new car, but should you? Do you really need that? When you're young and you're hot, you think it's always going to be that way. And the reality is, that's just not the case. Look at YouTube. YouTube was around long before Instagram, long before TikTok. It's now 2022. The top YouTubers of 2012, 10 years ago, they're not the top YouTubers anymore. The shelf life of an influencer is not that long. Thankfully now, the influencer industry is no longer in its infancy, so good managers that represent young talent know what to do to set them up for long-term success. And that is creating businesses, plural, outside of what they do that could hopefully last. Hubi has helped me so much because I do so much. I've got my website, I've got my podcast, I've got 2 YouTube channels, I also love making videos for people on Cameo, and I recently launched my CBD gummies. So instead of having one piece of that highlighted, I can highlight all of it at the same time. I can direct people to my Hoobie, and they can easily go to wherever it is they need to find me. It's simplified things immensely. I shockingly didn't have a tool like this up until I started using Hoobie. People love celebrity content because it's a lot like going to McDonald's. It's easily digestible, it's quick, and it's fun. It's aspirational for a lot of people. In many ways, it's aspirational in you fantasize about living that lifestyle, or it's aspirational towards your own life. Seeing some of these celebrities behaving in ways that you would never make your life seem blissfully boring. So it gives you a sense of gratitude, like, wow, being really rich and famous isn't all that it's cut out to. I've got things pretty good, but being rich and famous is nice. Some great advice I can give to anybody, regardless of what profession you want to do or what age, is number one of two, you have to put in the work. There is no shortcut to sustaining success. Because of social media and the internet and virality and your looks and luck, you might be able to overnight achieve success. You might be able to stumble upon success, but that fluke may not last if you don't put in the work. I don't know anybody that has a career that spans decades in entertainment or any thriving career. I don't know anybody that is able to sustain success that's lazy. And the second thing is, I think a lot of young people and old people as well have this false idea that ideas are special. And that notion, I think, is incorrect. Ideas are not special because right now, at this very moment, I could come up with what I think is the most groundbreaking, never been done before idea. And simultaneously, somebody across the world in Australia could have the same exact idea that's never been thought of or done before. And the two of us can execute that same idea so differently. So what does that show you? It's not about the idea, it's about the execution of the idea. And who's executing the idea? You. So it's about what you bring to the table. It's not about striving to be the next so-and-so, right? It's about being you as authentically and boldly, unapologetically as possible. When you're able to hone in on that and find what makes you special and share it with the world, that's when success starts racing your way. The future for me is very bright. My kids are healthy and happy, and that's the most important thing. And I'm continuing to adapt and try new and different things. I'm trying to manifest a television show. That would be great. And I've already experienced success with my CBD brand, but I am trying to manifest even bigger success with my True 10. And I've heard the feedback from those that have started to take my True 10, and it's touching people one person at a time. So I would love to be even more entrepreneurial and grow my True 10 like Kim Kardashian has been able to grow her brand into a $1 billion business, or Kylie Jenner has grown her brand into a $1 billion business.